Yes, yes, yes. You know what that sound means. It's time for In the Paddock F1, Greeny and the Cheese. For the 64th time, we race in the States. We're back in South Beach for the Miami Grand Prix. Miami, the pristine beaches, the beautiful people, the warm weather, and of course, the nonstop nightlife. It's a party, baby. And it's even a bigger party when the F1 circus comes to town. We're 14 miles from downtown at the Miami International Autodrome. Why are we trying to sound European? I don't know. We are racing 3.36 miles, 19 corners around the Hard Rock Stadium, 3 DRS zones. You give it the full beans for 54% of your lap. And Miami didn't disappoint. Max, with a total display today, starts ninth, runs them all down, takes the win. Perez second. And the ageless one, Fernando, finishes third. We're caffeinated. We're medicated. Greeny. Good evening, sir.
Feeling great, man. Like a home race. Maybe if the music worked on the home race. Yeah, man. Home race. We got a heck of a rundown tonight. Quizmaster's cockpit. I should be shaking in my boots. Oh, who knows what kind of questions you got for me tonight, eh? Stick around, winners and losers. I was thinking about the slap. I was thinking about the slap the whole race. I don't know if it panned out. I'm interested into hearing what you got there. And, you know, Greeny Bucks was an absolute dumpster fire for me. And, yeah, and away we go. Miami, baby. Here we go. The biggest party of the year.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in November.
So far,
that might be the biggest party of the year.
We will see. We'll see if it is listen, I think in the inaugural Las Vegas, we will see. But as far as Miami goes, wow, it was the real deal, and it didn't disappoint. Max Verstappen, the 5th driver ever to start 9th and win a race. How about that? But he's finished as far back before, as far back as 12th, as far back as last row to win races. So Max has done it from all over the track.
What did they also say in the broadcast? Something like it was the 14th ever Grand Prix to have no DNFs?
That is correct. So it was quite the race. It was quite the afternoon in Miami, and Sergio Perez did not win, did not go back-to-back, as it seemed he might after getting pole, and a wild Q3 during qualifying. Charles Leclerc spinning out, which caused chaos in the starting grid a little bit. K-Mag a little out of his shoes there. All the way up on the second row. In the Haas, 6 different constructors on the first 3 rows. How about that? Can't remember the last time that happened. But in the end, Max Verstappen wins again. Red Bull is pulling away, another 1-2 for them. Cheese, tell us what you saw.
I saw Max Verstappen just absolutely dominate. That second half of his first stint there was just insane. I mean, he was going faster on his used hards than guys were going on their new hards. So that was impressive. Managing the tires and keeping that pace, that was impressive. There's a lot of good battling going on. A lot of the good old DRS train that kept things going in the mid pack. All the cars finishing, that was a bit of a shocker. That's a shocker. Everybody finishing, that's a bit of a shocker. Finishing?
Absolutely. Like you previously said, only the 14th time in Formula One history, which is wild. That's a wild stat. But I think
Max Verstappen, just domination. Just domination.
Yeah,
that was impressive.
When he started pulling away before his pit stop, lap, and I forget when did he pit? 42, something like that. But before that,
no, it was later than that. I think
Sergio,
it was like 12 to go, maybe.
Yeah,
It was like 12 to go or somewhere around there.
so like
And then they
45.
came on the radio and said, you got a 5-second gap right now. By the time he hit, it was like a second and a half.
But Sergio Perez started catching up. He was about 16, 17 seconds behind, and he pulled within 15, even a little bit under 15 seconds. And then all of a sudden, Max Verstappen, the only one who on starting tires, pretty much in contention at that point, pulls fastest lap. And you're like, where did that come from? And then he pulls up from, I think, 14 and a half, 15 seconds to 17, 19 seconds. And it pretty much didn't matter at that point. And you knew Max was going to pit, finished 5 seconds ahead after starting ninth. Only 2 vehicles were lapped over the course of the day. So it was a pretty close race. And like I said, a lot of DRS trains, a lot more passing than I thought we would see, especially a lot of passing and clean driving. But interesting race. Definitely a testament to Max Verstappen, how good he is. And if this was anyone else starting ninth besides Max Verstappen, this would be a huge story because it's an incredible race. But Max takes it. All kinds of variety going on, all kinds of drivers, and you can see a lot of number 1 drivers versus number 2 drivers today, and how several number 1s outshine those number 2s. But in the end, it was Max's day, Red Bull's day. Fernando Alonso on the podium once again. How about them apples?
The ageless one. The ageless
one. And yeah, away we go. Any other final thoughts on an incredible day in Miami? We're back in Miami. I think everyone loves it. I think last year we were sitting here thinking, was this overdoing it and overreaching it, going from COTA to Miami? Now you have 5 races for North America. It's a lot this season, but it seemed as if the luster did not wear off from the first.
They added what would they say? Something like 30,000 seats for this year?
Yeah, 20,000. 250,000 last year, and now it's 270,000, which is insane. I mean, that's a 250,000 people they're bringing in over the weekend.
Yeah, in a parking lot.
That's what
it is. It's basically around the parking lot around the stadium.
I've been to that parking lot. I was driving a Toyota.
A Camry?
All right. Wrap it up. You didn't even mention a Ferrari, by the way, in the opening segment.
I mean, where did he start? Charles Leclerc wasn't good enough until the very, very end again.
He caught up.
He picked up, a couple spots from, but his it's the massive error yesterday and even the day before, even on Fridays, he did the same thing in the same corner. So he just doesn't know. He doesn't know the edge. He's pushing so hard to try and keep up with the Red Bulls. And every once in a while, you got to just pull it back that little quarter of a percent from the edge, and not go over the limit. So he's a little bit of an issue with that, as we see. He makes a lot of mistakes. That's one. Carlos, a little bit of a nice recovery after getting his speeding penalty, which is just boneheaded. That's just you just can't do that. But a bit of recovery there. I mean, it was more the Russell finishing 4th was another top 5 for Russell. That's impressive.
Quietly putting together great seasons for 5 races.
Quietly putting together a really nice season. I think that's like, what is it? I think he's got something like a 5th and a 4th, it's really nice start. It's outshining Lewis at the moment. So that you got that. But I don't want to ruin everything because got to save something for the next segment here.
Yeah,
I could
wrap
go
it
on.
up. We have momentarily, and of course, if you didn't have not checked out the YouTube channel, I'm about to put up tonight or tomorrow the finale of season 2 of the journey of VWF1 as it continues through season 2. A nice end to the season. I have not watched the final race, but the last couple races very nice from Patty O'Reilly. So and the VW. So check that out. A little Fantasyland, and the new game is dropping soon. So we're gonna have all kinds of new learning curves and new videos out. Very, very exciting coming out from the Cheese. So check that out, Greenie and the Cheese on YouTube. We'll be back in a moment. Quizmaster's Cockpit, winners and losers. Someone's gonna slap themselves. It'll probably be someone in a Ferrari, but we'll see. Greenie and the Cheese, back after this. Booyakasha. We're back. That was quick. Quizmaster's Cockpit. Who the heck knows what kind of questions this guy's going to ask me? As I listen to some Coheed and Cambria here, as we listen, I got sick anyway. By the way, this week I think I'm still a little sick. I didn't even go anywhere. It was miserable here in the Northeast, in the New York City area. 50 degrees, 40 degrees the other day, and windy. Come on, it's May. Come on, Mother Nature. Figure it out.
Mother Nature's pissed. You're feeling the wrath.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. You ready here?
I got the bell.
Well, hopefully you need it.
Hopefully you need it. I need a buzzer, apparently.
I mean, I think these are
smug look on your face. Think you're gonna go get me over. All right, go for it. Go for it.
I feel that this has been pretty easy, to be honest.
All right. I appreciate your feelings.
So here you go. Question 1. Let's see if you can do this, because I think it's pretty easy. If you pay attention. But as we all know, you don't pay any attention.
No.
So, including today's race, how many times has F1 raced in the U.S.?
64.
That is correct.
I started taking notes in the opening segment sometimes. And then sometimes I'll take a couple of notes and I won't take a note on something and you'll ask it every time. But I got a lot of stuff going on here. So I try.
I got a lot of things going on. I'm really busy here.
People might think I get a preview of the show. I have no idea. I have no idea what you're going to be talking about. We used to like powwow before the show, but we don't do that anymore. And so I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth or what notes you got over there. So, yeah, continue.
All right. At the Miami International Autodrome, I still hate that name, you give it the full beans for what percent of your lap?
This is like a quiz of retention, right? This is like the first day of history class. They put some stuff on the board. And at the end of the class, the teacher's like, all right, got some questions. What's my name? 54%.
That is correct.
$54. Got any more brain busters?
Oh, I got one more for you.
All right.
Told you it's kind of cupcake week. We had to give you a winner sometime.
All right.
How many wins does Max Verstappen have in the States?
It's 3 or 4. I'm gonna go with 3.
That is incorrect. It is 4.
4. Son of a gun. What did he win? Coda 2017? What did he win?
Nope. The last 2 times at Coda and the first 2 here at Miami.
First 2 here. That's right. He had 3 going in. My brain. That's wrong.
That's wrong. And I gave
Son
you
of a gun.
cupcakes. Give you cupcakes.
Yeah, the last 2 in each. Dominated the U.S., huh? What is wrong? Almost made it. I saw purple. And then red.
And then he crashed.
Like a Ferrari.
And then he spun out like Charles Leclerc.
Spun out like Charles Leclerc. No king. No king in Miami. No King Charles in Miami this week.
So as the creed in the past seasons, your performance is a loser, therefore that'll lead us into losers.
All right, give me
I got a couple for you here.
He's got a couple.
I'm gonna go Lance Stroll. Outside the points. Just absolutely not good enough for the car that's there.
Whole weekend.
Absolutely not good enough. Just an absolutely poor weekend. Lance is struggling. He might that team wants to go forward. He might have to get out of that seat. To be dead honest. And secondly, I'm going to take McLaren. And I'm going to hold it right here, and I'm going to hand out the slap right now, too.
Whoa. Wow.
I need to slap my goddamn tail for that.
Bringing it out early, right in losers. Because McLaren is getting my slap this week, because that was an awful performance. Disastrous. Absolute disastrous. They know the problem, but they ain't fixing the problem. It's just it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. They've now brought in Gilles de Ferran, who comes from the IndyCar ranks. Might help out. You know, when he's had teams in IndyCar, his teams have been very successful. So they're jumping and clawing at anything. They're firing people. They're bringing people in left and right. It's kind of a mess. The cars go nowhere. You get a little, it's almost like the Haas, like you went into last week. It gives you that little tease. It gives you a tease one week. And then it's right back to being absolute trash and rubbish. Neither car getting out of Q1. Hasn't happened in McLaren in a very long time. Just an absolute disastrous mess. The car is going backwards instead of forwards. So we're bringing out in losers this week. And McLaren, get out the powder and just slap your damn selves. Because it's a mess. Putrid.
There it is. Makes him sick. McLaren, legendary McLaren, is anything but. Yeah, barely making it out of Q1 this year. Barely making a dent in anything this year. And today was, a terrible performance by them. And we'll get to them a little bit later. I think Alfa Romeo had an opportunity this week to do something. Valtteri Bottas had a chance to do something this week, and he did not. He couldn't do it. He lost three spots. Started in 10th, and couldn't get the job done. His teammate didn't do much better, and. I'm going to give it to Charles Leclerc as a loser this week. 7th is not good enough. That man was trucking. He was driving excellently through Q3. He was driving great all weekend, and I don't know what happened.
I wouldn't go there.
He made
the same mistake.
But spinning out Q3, it changed the dynamic of the entire weekend at that point. Having that red flag, having, as much as I love K-Mag, having K-Mag starting to grow.
That's why that banker is so important. You got to get that banker lap in early.
Absolutely. And we've been talking about this for years now, that you really have to, because you don't know what's going to happen. One wrong move, everyone's pushing it, and Charles Leclerc, loser. How about Carlos Sainz as well? I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to pile on Ferrari while I have the opportunity, because that 5-second penalty almost cost him a spot. He came back, and he made it work, but that almost cost him a spot. And those are valuable points. At any time during the season, if you're going to have cost you a spot by breaking the speed limit in the
Pits.
In the pits, I apologize. Yeah, that's not good. That's a stupid penalty. That's an unforced error, and that's a 5-second penalty, deservedly so, especially after last week, the nonsense we saw only 7 days ago. And that's my 2 cents, and that's my losers. Who do you got for winners?
Well, we spoke about him a little bit in the, prior segment here, but George Russell's definitely a winner in my book. Another fourth, another top 5. Alonso, another podium. I'm going to give it to Alpine.
Yeah.
Both cars in the points. They've been struggling. The owner of Alpine called them all out. Showed a little pep in their step after getting a little boot in the ass.
They had a rough time with Baku.
Yeah. And so, but both cars in the points here at Miami, we're going to give them, we'll put them in the winners. And those will be my winners. Come on.
K-Mac got a hard
point. I saved that one for you. I was going to lead off because that was a
point. And I don't care what you say. That point was hard fought all weekend. Yeah, he got lucky, as we aforementioned just moments ago, how lucky he got to just be in fourth when Charles Leclerc
still have to finish in the points, and he did.
But if you start second row, you better finish in the points. And he did, or in the point. And he did, and even Nico Hülkenberg starting 10th. I mean, I know he finished 15th. Not a great weekend there. And I think that's about it. Do we have anyone else even out there?
I mean, Lewis a decent drive, getting up into the points.
Outside the points. Yuki picking up, starting second to last row, and coming all the way back.
11th, yeah.
He was up there for a while, and pretty much everyone finished. 18 of the 20. And first of all, everyone finished. All 20 drivers for the 14th time in Formula One history, and 18 of those drivers finished at the same time, or within the same lap. Only 2 drivers getting lapped. It's Oscar Piastri and the homeboy Logan Sargent, who's could not have had. He finished the race, at least. He finished his home race. Florida guy. Was he from Fort Lauderdale,
yes.
Florida? So at least he finished, but that was a rough day getting lapped. But everyone else finished within the same lap. We're not seeing these blowaways like we saw with Merck a few years back when Merck was 1-2. I know, they're winning, but they're not winning, or even like Max was even last year, winning by 20, 30, 40 seconds, some of these races. It's close. It's close. And maybe Max today would have blown away the field if he was sitting on pole, maybe. But he wasn't, and he didn't. And there you go. And since you already did slap, this segment's over. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because momentarily we have the most disastrous Mad Hatter nonsense with Greenie Bucks coming up. And if you had not heard Greenie Bucks yet, you're in for a treat. Greenie and the Cheese and the Paddock F1 will be back in a moment.
Oh yes, welcome back. In the Paddock F1, Greenie and the Cheese. Oh, you know what that sound means, boys and girls. It means we're taking that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Greensovia. Where the beer flows like wine and the wine flows like beer. The cannabis grows as far as the eye can see. Look at it. Look at it out there. Wow. Green and luscious. Take a whiff. Oh man, that air smells fantastic. You know what I saw on the way over the island this week? I saw the Mad Hatter. Couldn't believe it. He was here.
Hanging on the fields.
So then we got those tickets in hand. And if you don't know, you got to walk to the top of the hill. Casino's at the top. Are we cashing in? Or are we? Check it out.
Oh man, I think this week is a checkout week. Just going back a couple weeks, I was about 6,300 greenie bucks, sitting pretty well and fancy. I was having friends coming over, borrowing some greenie bucks at a slight percentage. Was making a little cash with the greenie bucks bank, and all of a sudden the Mad Hatter comes out. And in 7 days' time, I went from leading this competition with 6,200 to all the way down to 5,100.
Wow.
You, sir, are down as well because you think you're the Mad Hatter as well. Bad influence. You need to stick to your guns. And you know that because you went a little Mad Hatter too. You bet over 450 greenie bucks this week and you lost it all as well because we both had Sergio Perez winning. You had Lewis Hamilton as the biggest gainer. I had joke is Lance Stroll, who picked up 6 spots, but starting 18th. Lewis Hamilton started 13th, finished 6th. At least a little more respectable finish, picking up 7 spots. But of course, Max Verstappen started 9th, finished 1st. That is 8. That is the win for the biggest gainer. Obviously, if we had just had faith in Max, one of us would have taken home a bunch of cash, bunch of greenie bucks. But we both had no faith. And now we both have no greenie bucks. Not no greenie bucks. You said at 5,300 even. I said at 5050. Ugh.
50-50?
50-50. You, sir.
This ain't no raffle, son.
It sounds like a raffle to me. I am barely above this by the smallest percentage above my ROI. And you, sir, are down, are up a little bit as well. But yeah, not as sitting pretty as I was a month or so ago. I'll tell you that much.
Happens that
That's
fast.
where we're at. That's where we're at. Easy come, easy go. So this was an easy go. I thought I was going to go big. I thought this was going to be like cruising. But it wasn't cruising. It was definitely not cruising.
You were cruising, all right. Cruising for a bruising.
Cruising for a bruising. That is correct. So without further ado, as I turn the page on that nonsense, couldn't get the Quizmaster's cockpit. Couldn't get it's hurting. Which means you, sir, are on the clock. And you're going to have 3 minutes. And I got 10 questions for you.
Oh, I'm ready as always.
You run back to your seat, but he says he's ready.
I'm always
All right,
ready.
with that,
come on now.
Put 3 minutes on the clock.
Do it.
Without further ado,
give me my music.
Here we go. Fernando Alonso thinks he can win Monaco in 3 weeks. What is the percentage chance you have on Fernando winning Monaco?
40 right now.
40.
40.
Wow, that's a big number.
He's an old man. He's crafty. Max struggles at Monaco, actually. Next.
Second year in Miami, and Vegas coming up. Is Miami the new U.S. Grand Prix?
No, it's gonna just be Miami. It'll just be its own thing. Cause Miami, the glitz, the glamour, the beaches, the parties. Yeah. Next.
Can Sergio, with all of his maybe a little deflated after this week, Can he stop Max from winning another drivers' championship, or is it Max cruising from here?
No, next.
Only 2 cars lapped in the cleanest race so far this year. Do you see that changing heading into Imola?
Oh yeah, definitely. Stuff's gonna happen in Imola. Always does. Next.
Yeah, and again, as we mentioned earlier, the 14th retirement-free Formula One race in history. Are you surprised that Miami was so clean?
Kind of yeah. With the being sort of a power circuit, you expect some engine malfunctions. To be honest. Next.
Only about a dozen points separate the 5th place constructor from the 10th place constructor after 5 races. Is Alpine still your favorite to finish 5th this season?
Yes. Next.
McLaren back in the dumps after a 17th and a 19th. You slapped them before. Is this completely unacceptable?
Oh, it's absolutely unacceptable. Heads might roll again pretty soon. Next.
Aston Martin had a lopsided day with a great weekend from Alonso, but not so much from Stroll. Does Aston Martin have a Lance Stroll problem?
Yeah, as I stated before, it's if the team really wants to move forward, they probably need to put somebody with better talent in that seat. Next.
Toto Wolff called the Merc W14 a quote-unquote nasty piece of work. Upgrades are coming for Imola. Are F-bombs also coming for Toto Wolff?
Well, you always got to get a Toto F-bomb every year, so yes. Next.
F1 2023 trailer finally arrived, Cheese. Game due out in about 6 weeks. Game promised improved graphics and a female Formula One driver. You pumped? Formula One 2023.
I like what they've said. I'll have to play it to see what it feels like.
Well, review will be coming, and aforementioned, check that out, Greeny and the Cheese on YouTube. And of course, as always, everything we put out is free. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're wherever you get your listening podcasts, wherever you want to listen, we are at. So check us out there. We will never ask you for money. We are always free. And check us out on YouTube. Check out all our stuff. Cheesehead is pumped because we're only a few weeks away, but 2 months away from a 2023 videos coming up. So get pumped for that. Right around July. Hopefully we'll be pumping some of those out after you get used to that game. And final thoughts before we head to Imola in 2 weeks.
Get ready, get pumped. The good old classic Imola. One of my favorites. Can't wait for it. Look for it since it's been put back on the calendar. Love Imola. It's one of my favorite tracks. Old school. Flows just right. Fast. Love it. We'll catch you in 2 weeks. And as always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.